I'm Dean Rossler, and for the past 4.5 years, I've had the privilege of serving the citizens of this great county as the sheriff, and I'm here to ask that that privilege be extended another 4 years. We've heard a lot about the jail. No question, the jail was built in 1958, opened for occupancy in about 1961, and in terms of the building itself, not a whole lot has changed. In terms of the population, a tremendous amount has changed. We know that there are 3 times as many mentally ill people locked up in our prisons and jails nationally as there are mental health hospitals, and that is reflected in the population that we see at the jail. Prior to becoming the sheriff, we had a mental health diversion of about 48 a year. We are on track now this year in 2011 to have more than 200 mental health diversions. That was implemented through cooperation with community mental health, the sheriff's office, and the courts. I'm a strong proponent of Veterans Court, Drug Court, and I'm deeply involved, my office is deeply involved in sobriety court currently. My goals are very simple: to complete the community reentry project, or community reentry program from the jail to the community, similar to the state prison program, to keep the road patrols on the streets. We have supplied additional patrols in the high stress, high crime areas in some of the urban communities over the past 3 years, and it's my intent to continue to do that, work with the local and state agencies that we work with. I think if you look at what's happened over the past 4.5 years, you'll agree that we've made a lot of progress.
At this time, we have Mrs. Ann Olds from Muskegon Township. I think she just came in. Standing is
this fine from here?
yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I want the continual support of Muskegon County to support me at Muskegon Charter Township as the clerk. I've been there 4 years and want you to re-elect me. I feel that the community should reflect, each board should reflect our community. I'm the first African-American clerk at Muskegon Charter Township in over 200 years. So I think I've done a good job. There's a lot to do. Elections, this is the busiest time of the year for us. So we need your support there, and thank you.
We thank each of the candidates for their leading questions, and at this time, we do have a question for our prospective 14 circuit judges. And if you could just give us a short response, I sure appreciate it, starting at over here. And this, if the commissioners-elect would like to weigh in on this, we'd appreciate it also. It's a little in depth, but the Circuit Court Administrator is responsible for the administration of the Public Defender Program for Muskegon County. Muskegon County Board of Commissioners contract with the local law firms and individual attorneys to provide legal services for indigent individuals in circuit court, and probate courts. Many indigent individuals have complained that the current public defender program, many of the individuals feel that the court-appointed attorney is only seen shortly before entering the courtroom. I apologize. What can or will you do with the parties involved to eliminate this current problem? And also, if the public defender has a conflict with the defendant, an alternate public defender will be assigned to represent the defendant. The first option would be circuit court conflict attorney. If the circuit court conflict attorney has conflict with the defendant, the chief judge of the circuit court will appoint an attorney to represent that individual. What can or will you do with all parties involved to eliminate the current problem, allowing the individual the opportunity to discuss his or her case clearly with all options and fairness with the indigent client? Now this, I'm asking the 14th Circuit Court judges, and if the county commissioners would like to weigh in on it, I sure appreciate it also. And I'll pass it. We'll start here. 1 minute, please.
I think it sounds like 2 questions, but
It is.
Okay, thanks. I'm trying to make that out. In the 15 plus years that I've been practicing civil and criminal law, One of the criminal issues that I see is there's a belief that the public defender system is woefully underfunded. And as a participant, my firm had a contract in the district court public defender system. I would agree that there seems to be a disparity in the funding there. However, right now that's the way our system is set. I believe there should be additional funding for the public defender system. As a judge, I can certainly help with the county commissioners to try to bring some equity to that. What I believe, though, is that as being a participant in that there's plenty of time for the public defender to meet. It's not just as if they meet for 10 seconds beforehand. I know that they spend more time than what they're actually paid for being over at the jail, getting to see their clients and get to know the case before they can make an assessment. From a conflict standpoint, I can tell you if there is a conflict from a judicial standpoint, what I can identify is that all lawyers have an ethical duty to make sure that there's a conflict, that they should bring it to everybody's attention right away and let the court know that there's a conflict. If that's the case, I'll certainly reassign once I assess the conflict and identify it's a valid conflict, and make sure that they get adequate representation moving forward with an adequate assistance of counsel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Most of the public defenders in our county are outstanding attorneys, ethical, etc. The system, however, is a disgrace. District court public defenders are paid $45,000 a year for a full-time job after a doctorate and paying back perhaps $100,000 in debt. With that, they have all the liability, all the insurance they have to pay, and they take on as many cases as they're assigned. About 6 years ago, I did a study. My office did a study, and we provided it to the county commission. Ms. Waters recently talked to me about that because she wanted to engage some more discussion. And what that found out is that the county and the state, the way it's set up, is everything is geared toward prosecution. So in our county, I forgot the exact numbers, but let's say the prosecutor's office was operating at $5 or $6 million a year.
Thank you, Attorney Long.
Thank you.
I actually agree with Mr. Walsh, and that is that I am a public defender. I work with some excellent attorneys, but we are completely underfunded. I'm blessed enough that I'm able to keep another practice so I can keep my doors open at my office, and I can pay a secretary so that clients that want to talk to me more than 5 seconds before we have to go into a hearing can call my office, they can come in, they can meet with me beforehand. But honestly, we have to pay the public defenders more money so they can have doors open for people to come see them. It takes care of both the issues. I believe that the public defenders should be paid the same as the prosecutors. That there should be a division between the amount of money here, half of it goes to defense and half of it goes to prosecution. It seems like a no-brainer to me. And so I believe that the problem is absolutely there. We have excellent attorneys, but the way the system's set up, there is no opportunity for them to have people beforehand, meet with them and see them if they don't receive more money so they can actually run a law practice.
Thank you.
Well, so far, we're all on the same page. I agree that the system is significantly underfunded. The caseloads are too heavy for the public defenders, a lot higher caseloads than the prosecutors. They don't have funds available to them to investigate and go out and spend money on cases like the prosecutors do. It's just underfunded, and they need more people in the system to provide better coverage because they're overworked. They have too much to do. It isn't that the public defenders don't have the ability or the desire to represent people adequately, they're just overworked.
Well, you're going to get several views one way, several views the other way, because the defense attorneys in the room that do the public defending work are usually on the same page. Then you're going to get a prosecutor's point of view. Prosecutors have over 16 prosecutors in their office. They have tons of police officers and investigators that are on their team that work for them. The public defenders, each person gets a contract. They have to work. They have to pay for their own insurance, they have to pay for their own investigators if they want them. They can petition the courts to get them, but yes, it is uneven for prosecution and defense. The problem that we have is if we want to represent our clients to the best of our ability, we have to ask the courts for money to be able to get that investigator to do that. The prosecution does not have to. So it is a difference between prosecution and defense. And you're going to get a lot of people say, well, they don't deserve it. They do.
Thank you.
All right, let's get one thing straight here. I've been in the court as an assistant prosecutor for 20 years, and I've seen both sides. I've worked as a public defender. My very first criminal jury trial was as a public defender. I've been on both sides. Both sides are inundated with work. Both sides are very busy. Our caseloads are very high. What we have to keep in mind is that the public defenders have a contract. They're independent, and they can take retained cases as well. Prosecutors cannot. They are duty-bound to only handle the cases in the public servant sector. All right, a public defender can and has the obligation to handle every case that's assigned to them, but they can take retained clients as well. That's why I think there's a disparity. Now look at the system is taxed heavily. We're all very busy on cutting budgets, and we're all very busy on the same number of cases. Muskegon County has 4,000 felonies issued every year. I will be willing to work with the county administrator to make this a better system. A better system needs to be worked on. It needs to be a cooperative effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you.